My social feeds, they are flooded with posts like this. It's gurus telling me about how they completely automated their entire go-to-market team, and now they're just sitting around and it's just doing all the work for them. And you too, and me too, if I just comment on that post, I too can get that go-to-market team running on Cloud Code, just doing everything for me. But then there's also this other side to the story. I saw a post by Eleanor Dorfman. She leads go-to-market at Anthropic. Anthropic is the company that created Cloud Code and the suite of AI products that run on that LLM. She had a very different talk. She came in with a very different message. In this slide, she talked about how they're using the best-in-class go-to-market tools. They're not building their own CRM. They're not building their own Zendesk. They're not doing any of that. They're including Claude as part of the best of breed tools, including Clay, Salesforce, you name it. On top of that, she had this other slide. They were looking at what the best humans were doing on her team, the best salespeople, and they were creating tools that helped the rest of the organization mimic that behavior. So that whole message of just completely automating the entire org using Cloud Code was completely missing. And guess what? She doesn't need to pay for tokens. She gets it for free because she works at Anthropic. It gets even better. I went to Anthropic's website and I found 16 open positions for marketing and 69 open positions for sales. So they're continuing to hire. In fact, if you go on LinkedIn and look up Anthropic, their sales headcount and their marketing headcount is growing just as fast as their engineering headcount. So here's a big question. If you can supposedly comment on a LinkedIn post and get all these Cloud Code skills and completely automate your go-to-market, then why is the creators of Anthropic, why are the creators of AI hiring so many humans to run their go-to-market organization? Here's what's really happening in AI, and here's what's really happening in go-to-market today in 2026. When you have a proper go-to-market strategy, a proper go-to-market framework, and you have the right people on the team, AI can accelerate the output. But if you just put in a bunch of AI agents and just tell them to go figure out your go-to-market, then it doesn't know what to do. Anthropic knows this, which is why they're hiring the smartest people. They're using Cloud Code, they're using the best platforms, and they're getting billions of dollars in revenue while the gurus are trying to sell you some Claude skills. So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through how to actually craft your go-to-market strategy framework. And when you implement the framework on how to establish your go-to-market strategy, you will be able to hire the right people and plug in the right AI tools so that you can accelerate your path to the next stage of growth. Intro. What's up, everybody? I'm TK, the Managing Director here at TK Capital. Over here at TK Capital, we own and operate a portfolio of SaaS, AI, and advisory companies. And on this channel, I share everything that I've learned and everything that I'm learning as we are growing these companies and helping our clients grow their companies. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. You'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. If you're already part of this community, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. My last company, Taudab, we pioneered the sales engagement category. And when I started the company, I was an engineer. I hated sales, I hated marketing. I just wanted to have a Stripe link and have people pay with their credit card. But over time, I learned that you have to embrace go-to-market as a founder, especially if you want to win and stand out. Thankfully, we had some incredible investors. We were backed by the likes of Andreessen Horowitz, Jackson Square Ventures, Founder Collective, and they introduced me to some incredible go-to-market people, and they showed me what it takes to build a proper go-to-market strategy and drive growth. We amassed over 100,000 salespeople on the platform. We sold the company to Marketo. I then joined Marketo. I joined their executive team as their SVP of strategy. We did a 2-year transformation, a go-to-market transformation. And then we sold Marketo to Adobe for $4.75 billion. After leaving Adobe, I started this channel as a little bit of a passion project, as a form of an outlet to share everything I had learned. Fast forward to today, we've helped hundreds of founders based on the go-to-market principles principles that I share on this channel. And right now in 2026, it's an incredible time with AI and go-to-market because building software is easier than ever, but go-to-market is harder than ever. And despite what the gurus are telling you, your Claude Code can't do all your go-to-market for you. So I'm sharing the latest and greatest principles that founders and marketers need to know on actually how to drive growth based on what's working across my companies. So if you're excited to dig in on the 3 principles that you absolutely need to know on building out your go-to-market strategy framework so that you can actually put the humans to work and the AI to work and it all works together, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and let's dig right into it. So principle number 1 in building out your go-to-market strategy, the framework that I use is media. And I'm gonna use a real example to show you what this media thing is all about. Remember that guru I talked about? Believe it or not, that guru is basically working for Eleanor at Anthropic. Because what that guru is doing is going out there and posting on social media and talking about Claude Code. And you are seeing that and you're saying, oh my God, I gotta get on Claude Code. And then you're getting into their product. And eventually you're going to be buying from Claude Code, even though the promise of what the guru said of the 69 skills that can completely run your go-to-market organization, it's not quite true, but it's enough to get you into the product, enough of a teaser. So media is one of the biggest things that every single founder, every single fast-growing company is embracing. And not just the type of media where you do a press release or you go to an event, but social media and actual ads on social media and Google ads. They're doing an entire array of channels that are digital to make it where Anthropic is everywhere, to make it where even OpenAI is everywhere, to make it where AI is everywhere. And the biggest thing about this is all of the things that they're doing around media, whether it's Eleanor talking about her own organization, that's part of the media strategy, or it's the guru talking about it without even quite realizing that they're basically working for Eleanor in one shape or another, because they're not going to make that much on selling Claude skills. Like hopefully you don't pay for that stuff. They're just giving it away for free and wondering where the money is. But the reason this is so effective is because they're not talking per se about the features of Claude Code. They're not going in the nuances of how they trained the model or what the model is even capable of doing. They're basically talking about how AI is going to disrupt everything. They're going into a conversation that's already happening in the media about AI and the disruption and the job disruption. That's a big thread that's happening and they're just attaching to it. And they are talking about, hey, let's go build a movement. They're building this movement about, hey, I should fire all the humans that I don't like anyway and just put it all in with token costs and using more AI, even though the technology is not quite there. So it's working really well. This media strategy is something that I deploy for every single company that I've ever owned and every single company that I operate right now, and is one of the key things that I teach any single founder that I work with. And this YouTube channel is a perfect example of my media strategy, but it's not just video. I am extensive on LinkedIn talking about the products and services that my company serves. I'm extensive on X, and we have ads running. We have a complete media strategy. But the difference here is none of that is actually talking about the features of the product. We're actually talking about the macro trends that are happening. In Eleanor's case, in Anthropic's case, the macro trend that they created and manufactured and is now a zeitgeist, a top of mind for everyone, is AI is replacing humans. That is literally a trend that is driving the entire token maxing movement. And they are basically feeding it more and more in the media. Even though in her actual talk, she's talking about how she's hiring more humans than ever before, with Claude helping each of the humans. So the media strategy is one of the key components to having a go-to-market strategy today in 2026. If you are not on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram, if you're not on those platforms talking about the movement that you're creating, talking about the big transformation that's happening in your customers' lives, then you're missing the most important piece. The other thing about this is principle 1 is not about posting on LinkedIn. That is a tactic. That is not a strategy. The strategy is asking yourself, what is the big transformation that's happening in the world that we want to attach ourselves to? What is the thing that's happening in our customers' lives that we can talk about in the media? Therefore, we can influence them and start to guide them into our sphere. Those are the strategic questions you want to be asking in principle number 1 as you are building out your go-to-market strategy. And again, this is why that Claude Code skill, it will give you an answer. You can say, hey, what should my media strategy be? And what should the macro trend be that I talk about for my ideal customer? It will give you an answer. However, it may not be the right answer because it doesn't know. Because all you have to do once it gives you an answer is say, hey, are you 100% sure about that? And it'll say, actually, it could be this. And you say again, are you 100% sure about that? And then it'll say, actually, no, I made that up. It's this. And you can say, well, by the way, here's a unique insight about my product and my best customers. And it'll say, oh, actually, never mind. It's actually this. And now you have 4 different answers from AI, all very definitive. This is why the smart people that are actually making money, not the gurus that are just posting, trying to sell you a Claude Code kit or something like that, Eleanor. This is why they're hiring humans. This is why they have the 16 marketing jobs still open. This is why they have 69 salespeople that they're still hiring. This is why they're hiring more people in marketing and sales as much as they're hiring for engineering. Because AI on its own can't figure out your media strategy for your go-to-market strategy. They can't. You need some smart humans to look at this and say, okay, well, what should be the distinction here and what's the best way to approach this? But once you land on the media strategy, well, then AI can help. You can say, this is my media strategy. This is my ideal customer. This is my positioning. This is the macro trend that's happening. This is all the inputs. And based on that, I want you to actually start helping me implement this media strategy. AI is very good at that. But in order to get to that, you actually have to understand what your media strategy should be, what goes into it, and what makes for an effective media strategy, and actually have some of that. In San Francisco, we call it taste. You have to have that taste to understand how this should come together. Okay, so that's principle number 1, media. That's number 1 in your go-to-market strategy. Number 2 is product. The product has to start for free, it has to be addictive, and it has to deliver an aha moment. Now, if you take a step back, that guru that's selling you the skills that can run your entire company, what they're really doing is it's a brilliant product-led growth strategy. They're basically saying, here's the big transformation you can have, and you're like, oh my God, I don't need people. I can't even afford people. I can't afford all these people. So the $200 a month AI will just do everything for me, and I get these skills, boom. And all of a sudden you're like setting up Claude Code. You've never even opened a terminal before, and you're setting it all up, and you're in the product. And the thing is, you can start for free. And also, it is very addictive. And also, you can get to some form of an aha moment. It will give you some answers. Those skills will give you some answers. And you're like, you know what? It's totally right. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. This has happened to me. Because you ask AI something and it answers so quickly with so much definitiveness, you're always wowed by it. And you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then you put it out there, you post it, or you email, it wrote a cold email for you, or did a LinkedIn post for you. You do it, and then nothing happens. And then you come back and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. I call this phenomenon drunk AI. Drunk is like, you're so drunk on the AI, you can't even tell that it's not that good. But because it came with so much assertiveness, it came so quickly, you're like, this is awesome. They're smart. It gets you to an aha moment really fast. Now, imagine you downloaded those skills and you set up Claude Code, and you went in and you said, hey, what should my value proposition be? Or build out my ideal customer profile. And it came back and said, actually, that's a very nuanced question, and I don't want to steer you the wrong way. So can you answer some additional questions for me before I give you an answer? Imagine it did that. It wouldn't work. Why don't they do that? It's because then the product would not be very addictive and you wouldn't get to an aha moment. Their win is basically getting you to some sort of an aha moment, some sort of an answer where you say, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm gonna go run it. And then 3 weeks goes by, you don't make any money, and you gotta go back and figure out what's actually broken with my go-to-market strategy. So this is a little bit of a meta point, but they do it really well. For them, it really works as a business because you get it in the product, you start for free, it's very addictive. Claude Code is like a video game, and you get to some form of an aha moment. If you're thinking about your go-to-market strategy, when you get the media going, you get a bunch of inbound demand. And as you get the inbound demand, you want to get them into your product as fast as possible. It is no longer enough to just say, we are an AI platform. We're going to completely change everything. It is also no longer enough to have Claude Code design your website, and it's got that black background with the neon text, and you scroll through and there's all this stuff. Guess what? Everyone knows. You Claude coded it. It's just like 50 other startup websites, and it kind of looks like crap. So that's not good enough. You actually have to get people into the product. You have to get them feeling the product. You have to get them addicted to it for free, and then you have to give them some sort of an aha moment, and then they'll actually get into your product and start using it more and more. That's principle number 2 of your go-to-market strategy. Principle number 1 is you got to get the media to get into their conversation even before they start thinking about buying. You talk about the problem, talk about the macro trend, get them to come to you, and then you have to get them to try the product. Those are the first 2 principles. As you dig more into the go-to-market strategy framework that's working today, there's a third one that is super powerful that brings this all together, because with just these two, you're not gonna make enough money. You need the third one. So, but before I go into that, let me pause here for a second. This episode is brought to you by the folks at Unstoppable. Unstoppable is a portfolio company of mine. If you're in this stage where you're looking to implement your go-to-market strategy and you figure out the go-to-market strategy, Unstoppable runs programs for founders and CEOs of companies of different stages to help you build out your go-to-market strategy. They have the battle-hardened AI tools, they have the deep research, and they have the actual experts to help you do all of this. So this episode is made possible by the folks at Unstoppable. Go give them some love. Just go to getunstoppable.com. Getunstoppable.com, and over there you'll see all the success stories. You'll see the different programs that they offer, the different engagements, and it'll help you actually implement everything I'm talking about in this episode. Also, if you're getting value and if you're getting excited about actually fleshing out your go-to-market strategy so that you can accelerate your growth, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It loves it when you do that. The like button is the YouTube algorithm's love language. My love language is comments. So if you're getting an aha moment, if you're getting excited about this, go ahead and put a yes in the comments. Smash that like button too. And also, if you have thoughts around this, put it in the comments. I love responding to them. So they're my love language. Okay, now let's go to number 3. You got the media. You're talking big picture. You're mobilizing your customers. You're mobilizing the influencers. You're running the ads. You now have a whole swarm of message out there that's attracting your ideal customers into your product. And they're coming in and they are starting for free and they are getting addicted. They're having some sort of an aha moment. You've probably seen this before. I've seen this in my companies where you'll get a lot of people, but they stay in the free tier. You'll get some people that convert to paid, but then they don't stick around. You get churn. And then you're like, well, Jesus, how many posts do I need to do? How many ads do I need to run to sell a $99 a month product? And you realize like it's gonna be a lot and the churn's always gonna kill it and you can't pay. It's like a losing equation. This is where number 3 comes in. And this is what Eleanor also did and Anthropic did and all of the AI frontier labs did, which is hilarious because the media narrative is it's killing jobs, but they're hiring faster than ever before. Sales. They're hiring salespeople. Remember how I was talking about how Anthropic has open positions for 69 salespeople? Well, sales is the thing you got to add. Even if you're product led, you have to add sales in the back end. If you're selling a $1 million a year solution, you have to add sales much earlier in the front end, but you need sales. But specifically for today in the AI era, in SaaS, and when you're building out your go-to-market strategy, there's 2 things you have to do in the sales process. The first one is you have to have a land and expand. So if they're coming into the free product, you got to figure out how to get them to a paid tier and why they should get to a paid tier. If they are in the $99 a month tier, man, that sucks. It's just not fun selling a $99 a month product. You got to figure out how to get to a $1,500 a month tier. So that's just what you have to do. Because if you can't do that, that means you're not providing enough value and you're just not going to get enough volume. It's just a complete mess. The second thing that the way you do that, you're like, TK, how would we ever do $1,500? Well, you would sell solutions, you would sell outcomes, and you would sell services. That's how you make the shift. This is the biggest shift, the most exciting shift that's happening in go-to-market in 2026. AI companies, the best AI companies, even Anthropic, they're not making their money on the $200 a month plan. Like they're losing money on it. Where they're making money is their sales team goes in and they say, hey, listen, we want you to standardize on our model and we want to help you drive serious enterprise transformations. We want to take over serious workflows that run in your backend and have it run on our models. And by the way, that will probably at some point replace some humans. So they sell solutions. They go in and they are selling solutions, they're selling outcomes, and they're selling services, which services used to be a kind of like a dirty word, but now it's totally cool because services meant you have to hire an army of people, and that means your margins are terrible. Where now, little by little, AI can do most of that work, which means that services are really engineers. They call them forward deployed engineers, and they go in and implement the model, implement the workflows, engineer the missing gaps, and you charge a heck of a lot for it. And the buyer doesn't care because all they care about is the outcome and the solution. And that's what the sales process is selling. The other thing that comes together that's really powerful is sales gets you close to the customer. And I've never been part of a company where, we just kept it as a Stripe link and it worked. Growth always came when we got closer to the customer. So the more customer conversations you have in the sales process, what you're gonna get is data. You're gonna get a lot of data, because on average, the sales process, it's like a 20 to 50% win rate, meaning you don't win all the deals, but you learn a lot. You get a ton of data. And based on that data, you can actually feed it back into your product to figure out how you can get people to an aha moment faster, to figure out how you can actually get them addicted. But more importantly, every single insight that you have, just think about the recording from every sales conversation. You can feed it back into AI. This is where AI is really great. And say, hey, given my media strategy, give me more content based on the sales conversations I'm having. I want to outline all the problems that customers are talking about. I want to outline all the objections, and I just want to feed it back into my media strategy. And I want to feed it back into my product. And AI is great at that because you got the thing humming. So that's where sales is super powerful as well. Okay, so let's recap these things, and then we're going to wrap it all together and give you some actionable next steps. Number one, to build out your go-to-market strategy that works today in 2026 in the AI era for your SaaS company. Number one, you got to do media. You have to do media. You have to hook into a macro trend. You have to own the conversation in your ideal buyer's mind. You have to build a movement, and you have to get them to come to you. If you are still doing outbound in 2026, it is for losers, because their inboxes are flooded. Everyone's emailing them. Every AI SDR is sending them slop. You're just gonna look like a loser. So you have to embrace a media strategy where they come to you. Number two, you have to get them into your product. As they come to you, get them into your product. Start for free, make it addictive, get them to some sort of an aha moment. You might say, TK, we sell an agentic ERP platform and it's $500K just to start. There's no way I can give them a free trial. That's fine. Put them into an ROI calculator. There's different ways to get them into a product, to get them to an aha moment. So it doesn't have to be the actual product. It could be a subset or some sort of an experience. And number three, as people come in, experience some sort of an aha moment, get to some sort of addictive loop, put in sales. Go put in sales, land and expand the deal, sell them solutions, outcomes, and services. Fulfill the services and the outcomes using AI as much as possible, the rest with humans, and little by little improve your margins, but get bigger deals. Don't be stuck selling a $99 a month product. It is the worst, brings the worst people. So those are my three principles for building out your go-to-market strategy today in 2026. So to recap, lastly, number one, you gotta own the media. Number two, you gotta build the addictive product and get them into it. And number three, then you gotta send in the salespeople so that they buy bigger and bigger deals. Now, if you're in this stage where you are figuring out your go-to-market strategy and you're like, okay, I tried the Cloud Code skills, it's not quite working, we need some experts. This episode is sponsored by the folks at Unstoppable. Unstoppable is a portfolio company of mine. Unstoppable has been working for years. It's, I think, our 6th year in business. Believe it or not, all our competitors have gone out of business. It's wild. This is our 6th year, going into our 7th, helping founders build out their go-to-market strategy and then execute on it. You get a mix of the right AI tools, the right deep research reports, and the right experts to help you make the right decisions. And we have 3 different programs depending on the stage of company you're in. So be sure to give them some love. They are sponsoring this episode and making it possible for me to just put out free YouTube episodes with this much content. So just go to getunstoppable.com for all the details if you want help building out your go-to-market strategy. Also, if you got value from this episode, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. The like button is the love language of the YouTube algorithm. We put a lot of love into these episodes, and so it just means the world to us when you smash the like button. I also drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics on how to grow your SaaS and AI and advisory business faster, because I own and operate mine and I just teach you everything I'm learning. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. If you have a fellow founder, if you have a team member that will get value from this episode, please share it with them. If you're part of a Slack group, WhatsApp group, Discord group, whatever it is, share this video. It will mean the world to us. Also, if you are in this stage where you're like, okay, I want to learn more, I want to get more into this, check out this video. These are my 6 steps to building out a go-to-market plan. Once you have the strategy, part of that is building out the plan on how you're going to implement that strategy. So check out that episode. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, everybody.